Students, welcome to this session. We are going to see some previous year questions from laws of motion. These have appeared in previous year JE. A ship of mass 3 into 10 power 7 kg initially at rest is pulled by a force 5 into 10 power 4 Newton through a distance of 3 meters. Assuming that the resistance due to water is negligible, the speed of the ship is. So it says that this is the surface of water, let us say, and there is a ship, and this ship is initially at rest and the ship is moving, and finally let us say it came to this position. This is all water. Okay, water is not giving any resistance, because when the ship is moving like this, water also will give some resistance like this. Water is not giving any resistance, so we have to find the ship, the speed of the ship. So here the mass is given, okay, and the force is given. So force and mass is given, we can find acceleration. Acceleration is equal to force by m. You're going to get acceleration, then it converts into a kinematic question. You know, acceleration initial u is equal to 0, right? So we can find out v using v square minus u square is equal to 2ax. S is given as 3 meters. S is given as 3 meters. So when you solve it, you get 0.1 meter per second. So option 3 is the right answer. A block of mass 2 kg rests on a rough inclined plane, making angle 30 degrees with the horizontal. The coefficient of static friction between the block and the plane is 0.7. That means mu value is given. The frictional force on the block is. So here mu is given as 0.7. So this is the situation. You have to resolve the forces. Vertically mg will be acting. This component is mg cos theta. This is mg sin theta. So the block is trying to move down. The friction force will be acting up. So when you apply the equilibrium condition, this F must be equal to this force. But if you know, see here we are assuming that your x-axis is like this and your y-axis is like this, right? So sigma fx is equal to 0. If you put this F will be equal to, if you put sigma fx is equal to 0, this F must be equal to mg sin 30. But you know that F is equal to mu times n. And what is n? N is equal to mg cos 30. How did I get this? You have to put sigma fy is equal to 0. So these are the equilibrium conditions. You know, this condition and this condition is the equilibrium condition. So from here the mu value is given. You can find the n value from this equation. So from there you are going to get the value of frictional force. So when you are calculating, you are getting 11.8. But wait a minute, you have to see this component also, mg sin 30. Mg sin 30, when you calculate the value, you are getting 9.8. So while taking the initial classes, I told that suppose there is a block and you apply 10 Newton force. Let us say the limiting friction is 20, but here 10 will be developed. If you apply 15, force, this will adjust to 15, but never, this force is never more than this. So you are getting friction force as 11.8, whereas the component is 9.8. So at the maximum it will be 9.8 only. So this option is correct. So third question, a block of mass 0.1 is held against a wall, applying a horizontal force of 5 Newton on the block. The coefficient of friction between the block and the wall, that means this region, it is given as, mu value is given as how much? 0.5. Mu is given as 0.5. The magnitude of frictional force. See, if you draw the free body diagram here, the mass is acting downward and the friction force will be acting upward. Okay, why it is acting upward means block is trying to pull down and the friction force will be acting upward. you have applied a force like this, let us say 5 Newton. So normal reaction will be perpendicular to the contact surface. So from here you can get the friction force as mu times n. Okay, so if you calculate that, you have to put static friction value here. You're getting 2.5 Newton. But what is the mass of the block? It is 0.1. If mass is 0.1, the weight will be 0.1 to 10. It is 1 Newton. Okay, same like previous situation. So frictional force cannot be more than 1 Newton. Or if you take 9.8, you will get 0.98 Newtons. So your answer should be 0.98 Newtons, option B. The pulleys and the string shown in the figure are smooth and negligible mass. For the system to be in equilibrium, the angle must be. So this is a system which is in equilibrium, and he's asking you to find the angle theta. So for this type of problem, what you need to do is, if you consider this area, okay, if this is to be in equilibrium, there is a weight which is acting down. So here there is, if you cut the cord, it is T. If you cut the cord, it is T here. Okay, this whole system is in equilibrium. So if you take the vertical component, if this is theta, so this will be T cos theta, right? So here also there is a T is there, so you get 2T cos theta. So 2T cos theta, this is your X and this is your Y. Sigma Fy is equal to 0, you need to put. Alright, if you put that, you get this equation. So from here you can get the value of theta value, right? So the downward force is root 2 mg is equal to 2T cos theta. But what is this T? You have to apply one more condition over here. So here if you draw the free body diagram, T is acting up, mg is acting down. So sigma Fy is equal to 0, you get T is equal to mg, right? So that you need to put here. So theta is the unknown, you will get cos theta is equal to 1 divided by root 2. Okay. So let's see one more. A string of negligible mass going over a clamped pulley of mass m. A block of mass m as shown in the figure. The force on the pulley. So here the situation is that there is a pulley, there is a mass of capital M. That means mg is acting downward. So there will be a tension. Alright. So at this joint what will happen? You have a force like this. You have a force like this. Now here you see the pulley also mass is given. So you have to consider the mass of the pulley also. If it is negligible, you should not consider, but here it is considerable. So you should consider that. So there is one force like this, one other force like this. So this is our resultant force. So resultant force you need to find out. That is vector addition. I told in the class, if this is A vector, this is B vector, the resultant will be obtained by diagonal of the parallelogram. Okay. So find the resultant force. This is the resultant force. So option D is the right answer. So the next question, a reference frame attached to the earth. 4 options are given and this is MCQ type, multiple choice can be correct here. Okay, not a single option. That type of question is this. So here you are taking earth as a reference frame. So basically this is our earth surface. Okay, now you are taking an object which is moving from here to here, let us say. You are taking earth as a reference point, but basically earth also is rotating. See, this is our sun, this is our earth. Earth is rotating around the sun, and earth also is rotating along its own axis. Okay, earth is rotating about its own axis, and we have learned that anything which is rotating about its own axis, it won't be considered as an inertial frame. It will come under the category of non-inertial frame. So the first option, that it is an inertial frame by definition, it is not correct. Okay, it is not an, for practical purpose we are calling it as an inertial frame, but actually it is not an inertial frame, because this omega value of the earth is very less, so it is going with a less speed actually when compared with that object in per se. So it cannot be an inertial frame because the earth is revolving around the sun. Okay, third option is an inertial frame. The moment you see this option is wrong. It cannot be an inertial frame, the fourth option, because the earth is rotating about its own axis, which is true, right? So either it is rotating about its own axis, as well as it is rotating around the sun, so it is under a rotational motion. So anything which is under rotational motion cannot be considered as an inertial frame. Moving to the next question. A particle of mass m rests on a horizontal floor with which it has a coefficient of static friction mu. It is desired to make the body move by applying the minimum possible force. Find the magnitude of F and the direction in which it has to be applied. So yeah, as shown in the figure here, you have a situation where, you know, there is a force F which is acted upon it like this. It is making some angle theta with the horizontal. So our reference is, this is X and this is Y, let us say. So this is making angle theta. Obviously it will have components in X direction, F cos theta, and in the Y direction it will have F sin theta. When the block is placed on the ground, it is in touch with the ground, it will have a normal reaction. The weight is acting downward. When you are applying force like this, it will try to move the object from left to right. So your friction force will be right to left. So this is the situation. So you need to first write the equilibrium conditions. You have to write sigma fx is equal to 0. So this force must be equal to mu n. This is what is equation 1. And in the y direction, there are two forces which are in the upward direction, n plus f sin theta, and in the downward direction it is balanced by mg. So this is our equation 2. So when you combine these two, here n is an unknown, so finally we will get an expression for f. Okay, you have to just eliminate n. You have to eliminate n, you get an expression for f. Now he's asking you what is the minimum possible force. Whenever you find these type of terms and a minimum possible terms and all this, you should think in terms of differentiation. So here f, here if you see, f is basically is a function of theta. So theta keeps changing, f keeps changing. So if you differentiate this, you get the minimum possible value. Okay, you have to differentiate this with respect to the variable which is theta. So you have to find df by dt theta. Okay, when you find that, you have to equate it to 0. Okay, so f df by dt theta, you have to find out, you have to equate it to 0. You get a value for theta. So there you will get the minimum possible value. To be more precise, you have to find the second derivative. You will find that the second derivative is greater than 0. See, the condition is like this. You have to find out f dash, then you have to equate it to 0. You have to find f double dash. When f double dash is greater than 0, it is a minima. This is the concept of max. If it is less than 0, it is a maxima point. But basically you have to equate it to 0 to get the force first of all. Okay, so when you equate it to 0, you finally get theta is equal to tan inverse of mu. You have to just solve this. Here mg is a constant, you cannot cancel it. So all these things, you have to take it on the other side. That can be done. So finally theta is equal to tan inverse of mu. Once you get theta is equal to tan inverse of mu, you imagine a triangle like this. There is a theta, tan inverse of mu means what? So tan theta is equal to, it is mu divided by 1, opposite by adjacent, right? So this is opposite, this is adjacent, this is hypotenuse. So from here you will get the value of sin theta and cos theta, which you have to put it in this equation. So you will finally get the equation in this format. Okay, after that it is just a simplification. So you just solve this. If you're not able to get this value, you just WhatsApp me. I'll solve it and give it for you. I'm just talking here the procedure part. Okay, so that's it for now. Some more problems we'll see in the next class.